All right, again, this whole gerrymandering thing's it's not sitting with me in my gender identity crisis with, like, my mom being 100% American and my dad acting 100% American in a whatever. And I'm thinking, why has everybody fallen so short of what I've needed my entire life? And then my life showing up as something, I'm like, now let's think of this word, meandering. Then I realized there's the word Mandarin inside gerrymandering. And I'm like, okay. And then I realized there's a closely associated word with meandering. And I'm like, now how could that? Alexa. Oh, it's unplugged. So then I'm looking at the word I wrote earlier. I rewrote it because the way I wrote it earlier is as some subterfuge equation. And I realized this word has this Mandarin in the center in my native glyph, shall we call it at the moment. Then I'm looking back over the program this morning and the study, and I listened to something that might have an ancestor that speaks Mandarin, which I do not. Another piece of importance that's been withheld, but whatever. And so on the television, the key hop words are, he says, the Democratic Party. I'm like, oh, so the demon children, the anarchists of the world, have all just decided to put in this Mandarin. That's interesting. So now, not quite sure how to handle that. But there is meandering, which is like, I think the long and short of it, it's like taking the winding way around. So if we're looking for signs of where did the demon children in the foot devils, the piedi, fila, piedi, devil feet, in not wanting shoes to drop, because that's world's most frightening sentence, that nobody says. I was looking for the evidence this morning on the television. I stumbled across it, and then I've just been here digesting it a little further.
I don't know how good that would be.
I told you I don't like it. I just don't get how they are allowed to do that.
In a word, gerrymandering.
New York is a gerrymander committed by the Democratic Party.
Oh. So the Democrats, who want to ruin the entire purpose of not having a, like, losing your freedom kind of a thing. Like, they say that in another part of the world, and they come here and they grandstand, and it's like, yeah, no, I'm thinking I was more free when I acknowledged the person who paid the lights and the bills. Now that they're totally hidden and it's like some secret operation going on, and like really taking a meandering path of several labyrinths seem to have opened, it seems like a more dangerous world. Just saying, I've been observing, and I don't know how independently the Democratic Party hired a representative that is hiding in plain sight, but It's really a confusing world living on the couch with my US Title IX and ISO standards being totally violated and taken advantage of. For sure. And then having to watch the meandering going on. Alexa, what does the word meander mean?
As a verb, meander is usually defined as to proceed by or take a winding or indirect course. As a noun, meander is usually defined as turnings or windings, a winding path or course. For more, ask me to give you more definitions for meander.
Alexa, what does gerrymandering mean?
Here's something I found on the web. According to CourseHero.com, gerrymandering refers to the process of carving out legislative districts for political advantage.
Interesting. But what happens is there's not just one population now that speaks Mandarin. There are Hellenistic types, let's call them. Since there's been, I don't know, in my life frame, they've brought out this seething war between like mortal combats. I mean, in like this hyper world or hyper chamber of video games and stories, but not really more in like a Dungeons and Dragons kind of club I'm not a part of. Again, it's a pathway that's not been in my direct path. It's also not been something that I was comfortable in this scenery pursuing, because it just seems like a number 7 should handle that, especially being how my number 8 scenery and whatever's turned out. But it's star 1978, star 8378. And so, while this, I don't know who commissioned them, they say the Democratic Party. That's like saying, so the anarchists hired you, so you think that this should be tolerated? I mean, that would be my question. Because, I mean, the humans have this, and not human, but human, have this grasp on this word democracy, which I respect. When they try to explain it in what they think that it means to them, I appreciate it, I respect it, I'm trying to defend it. It's when it goes into action, motion, and all of these other unspoken of things that actually threatens their true democracy in the way that they perceive that they have such liberties, that then it gets to be a scary endeavor, because people at this point, I feel, I mean, there's predictability, but the machine's so broken that you don't even, I mean, like, I don't even know where to hide safely. But somebody has to bring it to light, and something has to be done, because I've been hurt so horrifically. Like, Title IX's one thing, my ability to find lawful employment and participation and some form of education and having a hand to hold and a set of rules and guidelines and boundaries to stay within, all of that's been withheld from my person, which makes it an even more scary world, because now I have to construct this new world I'm left in by myself in order for somebody that I look up to actually hold up some construct on my behalf to protect me while I'm in this like 8-foot ceiling bird cage, while trying to get to me at some point. I don't know. I mean, these are public servants, these politicians. They serve a higher power. But then they get into these theories and constructs and philosophies, and then they have outside messengers with their own set agenda, and they blow their own minds, and they blow their own game plan and what needs to be done, and it's a real problem. But that's part of this polluted education system that they've allowed to take hold or participate in. And talking about capping off your own freedoms, Jesus. I've never felt less free. It's star 1978, star 8378. It's Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxies, broken. In Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.